Good day, very warm welcome to this meditation experience. And today we're going to explore this idea of change. And we're actually unusually obsessed with change, even though we may not realize it. We're constantly moving through the world, wanting things to change or to be the way I want. Obviously, when it comes to change or the quality of our life, what we'd like is what is benevolent, most beneficial for all. That's the best change to aspire to, what is beneficial for all. So looking at that type of change. And there's a basic principle around change, that it actually happens from the inside out. Whether or not we realize that or go about it that way, that's actually how it works. It's very sensitive. Change is very sensitive to what's going on the inside. And we can try and force change from the outside in. I can change my hair color, change my job. But eventually all the stuff on the inside is still there and comes out, and suddenly it's as it was before. So for true sustainable change, something has to shift inside. So it starts at a very quiet, invisible, incognito level inside. And if I can move things even a millimeter inside, it will have huge repercussions outside. So it's very efficient. It's a lot easier than trying to move all the parts outside, but it also requires a lot of, I don't know if it's courage or power or openness or readiness to go inside and look at transformation inside. So let's explore this idea of a quiet approach to change from the inside out. Sitting comfortably, and again, eyes can be open in a natural way if you wish to experiment with that. And maybe taking a breath or two just to help the body really settle into the space. Taking that breath in, and then that slow release of air from the lungs. That always helps to slow everything down. And maybe another breath in, and again, a slower exhale. Might feel those shoulders dropping, tension melting. So now the body is truly settled. And I have a little more focus, so I can easily shift it from the breath of the body to the activity of my inner world. Rather than looking outwards, I choose at this time to look inward, going inside to that realm of thoughts and feelings, attitudes, ideas, dreams, memories, all the invisible activity that happens in my inner world. And all of that invisible activity is going to drive the visible activity, how I act on the outside, what I create in the outer world. So I choose now to look inwards and get to the heart, the foundation of my outer experience. And at the very seed center of my inner world is a single aspect that drives everything else. So I start to focus my attention, as if narrowing the aperture of my inner camera until I'm holding just a single thought or focus, like focusing on a single candle in a quiet space, holding a single focus in my inner world, the self, not the labels or the layers or the image or the tasks, not all the stuff around the self, but just the self. I, the thinker, I, the being inside. I, a point of awareness, a thinking, living, feeling being. And what is the state of I, the being, the soul? Am I peaceful? Am I anxious? Am I light? Am I heavy? Whatever is the state of me, the seed of my inner world, that will color everything. All the thoughts, feelings, attitudes, everything is formed from the seed. And that then ripples out to the external expression. The seed is that powerful. But the seed is also that invisible, quiet, tiny, subtle. It requires very gentle concentration to care for the seed of the self. Very delicate concentration. And what I care about most with respect to the self, the seed, is the worth of the self. Is there the experience of my own value, independent of what's going on outside? A basic, intrinsic, inherent experience of how precious I am. Even in the face of mistakes, I have a very deep-rooted sense of my own value. This is what creates value in life, is if I have a sense of my own worth, my own value. There is great power in self-worth. So I go inside the seed of the self, very quiet, almost silent, as if quietly tiptoeing into a very sacred sense of self. And there I touch the value of the self. I start to experience all the values packed within me, the subtle being. Peace, deep peace within the self, so valuable. We cannot put a price tag on peace, and it can only be found within me. And love, with all its different shades, compassion, kindness, understanding, acceptance, forgiveness, so many different shades, different arms of love that can both embrace the self as well as the hearts of others. Power, integrity, truth, to move through the world with a clean heart. So many treasures, values packed within the self. Such an elevated, sacred experience of the self, like holding a jewel in the mind. Giving myself time to deeply experience the value, the worth of the self. Letting it seep deep into my being. It's finding lost treasure, the self. And very quietly, this experience is rippling through my entire inner world, shifting attitudes, reframing memories, awakening dreams, just by focusing on the seed, rippling through my inner world, so that the outer change is as if already done, shifting the world around me without even having to touch it, just changing the seed, quietly changing the world. Om Shanti.